eat some nuts. Oh, wait, I don't have anything in my. Gracias por ver mi canal. Oh, I gotta get rid of it. I gotta get rid of my gum. I need a butt pad for this chair. I'm lower today. What the heck is this all about? I'm not putting thoughts together very well today at all. Did I take my Ritalin? Hola y gracias por ver mi canal. I know. In English, hello and thank you for watching my channel. Hello, you guys. So what I've got for you today is in honor of Hispanic Heritage Month. I really wanted to do something because I am Hispanic. I know, right? I don't know what you guys were thinking, but I am. And I'm looking for some tags. I was looking for some tags, and I came across a great one. It's the Hispanic Latinx Booktuber tag. It's an original tag. So she is Karina Nicole, and I'm going to link this original tag down in the description box. So let's get started. The first question is, what is your heritage? Now, I am mixed. My father was white. He was half Irish, and the other half was a mixture of Scandinavian and Ashkenazi Jewish. And my mother is from Colombia. And the family lived in Medellin for a while and then moved to Barranquilla. So that's where my origins on my maternal side are from. So that is my heritage. Question number dos. Do you speak the language of your heritage? Well, you heard me a little bit, right, in the intro. I speak enough to get me by. I understand it better than I speak it. I don't really speak Spanish very well at all. And I'm not going to continue to probably say anything in Spanish for the rest of this video because it's just horrible. And I will not put you through that. And any of you who are Spanish speaking out there, I'm not going to put you through that because it is a nightmare. So I didn't hear it a lot growing up with my father being white and my mother being Colombian. She learned English and is very fluent in English. So I didn't hear it a lot except for when we went to visit my abuela in Sunnyside, Queens, which is also known as Little Colombia. Little factoid there for you. So I heard it a lot growing up there because we go, maybe like once a month and spend the weekends. And she'd come to visit us quite frequently because we lived so close. But it's just not something that I heard all the time. And it's unfortunate. I wish I did speak it fluently. I wish I spoke it better conversationally. But yeah, it's sad. It makes me very sad, you guys. It makes me very sad. Anyway, question number 3. Do you own any flags or decorations that represent your heritage? No, I don't. I don't own any flags that represent my Irish and skin. Oh, well, I do actually have an Icelandic flag because we went there. So I do have a part of that. I know, it's terrible. Terrible. I'm a bad Colombian. I'm a bad Colombiana. As I always say, soy una colombiana muy blanca. Muy blanca. Question number 4. Who is your favorite author that shares the same heritage as you? Well, I just happen to have his book right here. Yes. Love in the Time of Cholera. Everybody knows this book, right? By the great, late Gabriel Garcia Marquez. Picture of him on the back. Amazing, amazing writer. He was an amazing Colombian writer. I loved this book. I've read many of his books, and If you like anything that is written perfectly, I'm biased because he was Colombian and I am too. But no, if you like anything written in a with magical realism in lyrical poetic style, but that doesn't like it's not super in your face, right? Where you're like, ugh, you know, he's just he had that talent and he had that gift of being able to write about like a burlap sack. He could write about anything and make you and keep you engaged for hours. You know, that was just Gabriel Garcia Marquez. He just could write that way, and it's sad that we don't have him around anymore. But yeah, so he's definitely my top. Another one is Laura Restrepo. Restrepo. She is, in contrast to Gabriel Garcia Marquez, she is a more of a thriller writer. She's a true crime kind of writer. Her beginnings or origins rather came from her being an investigative journalist. So when she started to write fiction, it is based on a lot of true events. And let me tell you, some of her writing is extremely twisted and does not get lost in translation at all. One of the books I read by her was called The Divine Boys. I will find it and insert a picture of it. But that one was so twisted and disturbing, and it had this very, like a Clockwork Orange meets American Psycho meets Fight Club kind of meets anything written by Bret Easton Ellis sort of feel to it. And it was actually based on a true, unfortunate, awful story that happened in Bogota and rocked the whole country. So yeah, that one was far out. So in contrast to Gabriel Garcia Marquez, Laura Restrepo is another of my favorite Colombian authors. Okay, question number 5. Favorite book that takes place where you were born / the place of your heritage. Again, I go back to Mr. Marquez, right? Question number 6. Favorite legend or folklore from your heritage. You know, honestly, I can't think of one right off the top of my head. My mom has so many stories of, and I know there's one that's going to kill me after I do this, and I'm going to go, oh my God, you know, why didn't you talk about that one, right? But I always remember hearing a lot about Simon Bolivar, and he wasn't a legend, he's a real person, but in Colombian history, he is considered a national treasure, just like Gabriel Garcia Marquez is considered a national treasure. I was raised in a religious cult, you guys, that I know I talk about my parents and they were really cool. They were really, really cool. My father really wasn't in this at all. My mother was. Anything dealing with magic or fairy tales or anything of that nature was forbidden. So I didn't hear a lot about that stuff growing up, you know, except from like my dad, you know, who again was not in the cult or the religion. And so there was a bizarre dynamic going on there because I think my mom would turn a blind eye to it just so that I wouldn't be super weird. That's super awkward. My sister and I wouldn't be like completely unworldly. So we would have a little bit of worldliness in us because it's not bad to be worldly. Number 8. Oh my God, this thing looks huge on camera. It's like a trombone. Oh, or something bigger than that. Calm down, Dina. Calm down. Yeah, number 7. Favorite character that shares the same heritage as you. So I'm actually going to go off here into a different direction. I'm actually not going to mention a character. I'm going to say an actual person. And that person is Mo Rocca. I love him. I love Mo Rocca. I've loved him since The Daily Show. I've loved him in My Grandmother's Ravioli, in that other one that he does on Saturday mornings. It's kind of like a kid's programming, something with Henry Ford. He's just, I love him. He's hilarious, and he is half Colombian. He's half Colombian and half Italian. And he's a super nerd, right? He's like a super geek. And he's a writer, so he's bookish. And so I identify with Mo Rocca because when I watch him, I see parts of myself in him, which is that, like, especially on My Grandmother's Ravioli, which was on the Cooking Channel. I don't know if you guys ever watched it, but when he would do certain episodes with Hispanic families and Hispanic grandmothers, he speaks un poco Spanish, and he's better than I am, that's for sure. Definitely a little more conversational, but he's got that awkwardness just like I do, and I love him for that. For someone like myself who is a mixed race and grew up with white and Hispanic relatives and kind of not really knowing who you identify with both, but you just kind of don't know where you fit in the whole family. And I'm just going to say one thing. I remember in college filling out your ethnic background. So I'm like going through the box, and I'm with my advisor, and I'm like, well, I'm white and Hispanic. And she goes, oh, well, just choose the one that you identify the most with, right? And I looked at her, and I said, but I identify with both. And she kind of looked at me like nobody had ever presented her with that question before. And she's like, well, I don't know what to tell you. You need to check one. And I think that was before there was the other box. That was a long time ago, you guys. And so I said, well, I'm going to check both because I identify with both, So when you're mixed, and I think anybody who's mixed probably has struggled with the same thing, is you just kind of have a tough time in certain situations where you talk about your ethnic background, and people just don't really understand what it's like to grow up mixed culturally. And I'm not going to get too opinionated about this, but I have had people in my life who don't get it, who just don't understand what I mean and what I'm talking about. But I'm sure those of you out there who are more open-minded, let me just put it that way. And I know all of you are very open-minded people that get it, and those of you who are watching this who are mixed can identify and understand what I'm talking about. Number 8. Yes, I got my glasses on and I still can't see anything, you guys. It's terrible. What is your favorite song by a singer that shares your heritage? Oh, this is a great question. As you could tell, I didn't thoroughly read the questions before. It's like I never do, right? My uncles, right there. My uncles we tragically lost one of my uncles back in the 80s, but my other uncle is still kicking it in his 80s, and they both had cumbia, which is the very traditional music of Colombia. They had cumbia bands or orchestras in the late 60s, 70s, and throughout the 80s. And so those are the two. And I love all of their songs, everything they do. And I really wish that I could play their music for you on here, but I can't because it's copyrighted. I know. But, and you think I could get special permissions, but I can't because that's up to the record labels, right? So, but what I'm going to do is link a couple of their videos. They're still on here. It's the old stuff, so the quality is not good, you guys. But my Uncle Jairo Paternina, he unfortunately passed away a long time ago, and we miss him so much. And Napoleon Mercado, who is my other uncle, who actually wrote a song after Gabriel Garcia Marquez passed away in tribute to him, because my uncles were both part of the artistic community in Colombia. And so my uncle, in his 80s, and hasn't really performed in a long time, he wrote a song, an original song, in tribute to the late Gabriel Garcia Marquez. So I'm going to post that one down there, and I hope you check it out, because he's just, my Uncle Napo is like just the coolest, most intelligent, talented, funny. He's so funny. I just love him to pieces. So he might watch this. I love you, Uncle Tio Napo, my Tio Napo. Number nine. What is a TV show or movie with Hispanic representation that you love? Oh God, Modern Family. I associate and identify with that show so much because everybody knows who Sofia Vergara is, and she is a very famous Colombian. And the funny thing is, I identify with that show, and I remember first, when it first came out, and watching it and going, "This is my family," because my father was 13 years older than my mother. Okay, and so you have that dynamic going on, which is similar to to Sofia Vergara and Ed Harris's characters in Modern Family, and just the dynamic there of my father's very white family embracing my mother's very Colombian family, and when we had family get-togethers, it was so funny and kind of awkward. It was humorous. I'll just put it that way. Even from a child's perspective, even later on in life, observing from a distance. It was just an eclectic mix of people, and you had, my white relatives who I love that were just kind of like, huh? Like, because there's people speaking Spanish and all around them, and they don't understand, and some of my Spanish-speaking relatives didn't speak English, and so you had that, communication breakdown. But one thing that we all loved was the food, because my abuelita would get into the kitchen and she'd start cooking, and she'd be cooking all day long for these get-togethers, and everybody loved the food. So my Uncle Henry, on my dad's brother, I remember he would just you had to watch Uncle Henry, because Uncle Henry would eat the whole platter of platanos, which are fried plantains. He would gobble them up. So we always would be like, keep an eye on Uncle Henry, make sure he doesn't eat all the platanos. Oh my God. Okay. This is so much fun. Question number 10. What is something you wish people understood about your heritage? That's a good question. Oh God. We're not all drug dealers. We're not, if you watch Narcos, that is not all Colombians, people. Okay? That's all I'm going to say. We are not all cartel. And I'm sure you all know that. You're all intelligent people. I'm sure you all know that. But yeah, that can be a sometimes a common ignorant kind of connotation when you mention that you're Colombian. So that's all I'm going to say about that one. Number 11, what are you most proud of about your heritage? Oh God, so many things. Colombians are just so much fun. I'm so proud of that. They're passionate, they're fun, they love to dance, they love to stay up all night long and eat and drink and just, have a good time. For the most part, they're all about celebrating life. And I think that goes for, and it might be just conjecture here, but I don't think so. I'm just saving my ass. Most Hispanic culture is like that. We just love to party, right? Fiesta, forever. Mm-hmm. We love to have fun. We like to laugh at ourselves, okay? We don't take ourselves too seriously. As you can see with me, I just, I don't get all, pissed off because, somebody didn't understand something that I said, or that's what I'm most proud of my Colombian Hispanic heritage. Number 12, I'm sick of taking these on and off. I got to take them off because of the glare. I got to put them on because I can't read. It sucks getting old. Number 12, favorite fellow Hispanic Latinx booktuber. Oh, I just came across one. Her name is, Gloria Reeds. I think it's Gloria Reeds. She is Mexican, but she has two booktube channels. She has one that she does in Spanish and one that she does in English. So I hope I got all those facts about her correctly. But I love her. She's beautiful, and she just has this really great way of reviewing books, and really, really cool booktuber. So check her out. Number 12, last question. Tag some fellow Hispanic, Latinx booktubers. I am not going to do that. Maybe I'll tag Gloria. She's probably already done this one. Really quick, I just wanted to, this tag didn't really go, it doesn't really go into books, and I was kind of gonna do a tag more, or not a tag, but just a video about my favorite Hispanic authors. So while I'm doing this, I might as well talk about one right now that I love. This guy, his name is Paul Penn, and I'm gonna insert a picture of him up here. And he has written quite a few books. They've been translated into English by an amazing translator named Simon Bruni. And I read an interview with the both of them together, and they just have this great symbiotic relationship, because I don't read in Spanish, you guys. His books appeal, Paul Penn's books appeal to me so much because Simon Bruni does such a great job translating them over into English, and nothing gets lost in translation, which sometimes they do when you read books that are translated into English. You're like, what? So I just wanted to give him a plug, because a lot of his books are on Amazon. You can get the Kindle editions. And he wrote, one of them is called By the Light of Fireflies. I know, I'm going to post a picture of it up here. So, but anyway, I'm going off the cuff, right? But if you liked Room, if you like sort of that isolation trope, you will love this book. It was so creepy, and that's the thing with Paul Penn, is he is a thriller writer, okay? It's crazy. It's this family living in a basement, and they never leave the basement, and there's someone coming and bringing them food, but we don't, and supplies, but we don't know who that person is. They are disfigured. I'm not going to say how, but they've been maimed. And it's told in different perspectives. So you have mother, father, grandmother, daughter, brother, and the boy. None of them have names. Okay, that's how they're referred to in the book. But so the book is told in all these different point of views. And it was a crazy ride. I mean, I loved this book. And that was the first book I read by Paul Penn. He's from Spain, not a Colombian author. That book, and then I just read, because of Hispanic Heritage Month, I just read a book called Under the Water by Paul Penn. And oh my God, you guys, that book was amazing. It was so crazy. And again, I'm going to insert a picture of it up here and just do a little quick review of it. But oh my God, this one blew me away. This one was more of a, I had to pop my gum back in. Sorry. It's an RV experience. Now, I grew up RVing, right? My parents always had an RV, and we did a lot of RVing growing up. And so this one was wild, because you have a family who is sort of this picture-perfect family, and they decide to move across the country from Seattle to, I think, Boston, because things have been going on in their home, and they're not sure why these things have been going on, but they just feel like they need a fresh start. And the funny thing is that the mom in the book is a YouTuber. So I immediately went, oh my God, that's so weird, right? So anyhow, they start the process of moving, and they buy a motorhome or an RV, and they start their travels across country, and they get to just about Idaho, and things start going downhill from there. It was insane. I loved this book so much. Again, Paul Penn, twists and turns, and you're just going, what the heck? But then he also has this, and I think, that passion of the Spanish, or being Spanish, and passion about people and their emotions and their strengths and their weaknesses and their resiliency and their love and their hate. And again, he writes that with this foundation, right, supporting all of that. And it makes for a really interesting infrastructure, literary speaking. So anyway, Yeah, so that was a good one. So that's it for today, you guys. Thank you for watching me spiel on about my heritage, and I hope you found it interesting. You let me know. Do I have any Latin subscribers out there? Let me know. I know there's a few of you, maybe. Um, and I would love it if you did this tag. So I'm going to tag all of you who out there in my BookTube channel, who subscribe to my BookTube channel, who are Latin, and do this tag because it's so much fun. So you guys have an awesome day, and I will see you the next time.